Here is a look at your gap and go trades for the week of December 30th through January 3rd. I will go over price targets on the 5-minute time frame, have a gap recap from December 23rd through the 27th, and I will also update the chart. Hi everyone, it's Dow on the Dow. First up is Boeing. We ended the week at 180.72. Up 0.19%. This is where we are. To the north side takes us back to one level of resistance and a potential take profit area. Depends on what side of the line you bought. That is 181.59. Above that, 184.41. 185.87, and should we be so lucky as to get to this level on Monday, that would be 187.20. To the south side, VWAP is in blue at 180.56, this line, and below that, at another level of support and a potential buy-in area, 178.74. 177.32, and should we be so lucky as to get to this level for a potential buy-in area, 175.87, and of course that would not be the case if you bought in higher than that and you don't want it to go to the south side. Looking left, you can see where we bounced at support here, up to resistance and a sell-off, back at support, back up to resistance, falling back down, grinding sideways. So if we go sideways, this is where I anticipate price will go before making its way to the upside or to the downside and cracking. As far as gaps go, we've got a gap to the downside. That takes us to roughly 157.57. 149.38 as well, but we are moving farther away from this, because we are right now in an upward channel on the 5. Of course, you're going to get different buy and sell signals depending upon what time frame you trade in or are looking at price. The gap to the upside that I'm tracking will finally take us back up to 198.53, and I don't think we will get there this week, but possibly the following week. And when you're taking a look at these lines, this is your potential sell, 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 potential buy, buy, buy. And if we're up here and we hit this green line, that's going to be a support line, and we could see a bounce off of that. And if we're down here trying to grind our way up to this line, that is resistance and a potential take profit area. The next ticker I'm going to go over, and I'm going to go through these quickly. See if I can grab onto that. What the heck? Hold on a second. There we go. Unilever is up next. We ended the week at 57.46, down 0.17%. Oops. The middle of the trend takes us roughly to 57.53. Above that, 57.81. 57.96-ish, and 58.11 to the south side, VWAP. Well, actually, I forgot that's north from where we are, and that's 57.49. 57.23, 57.09, and roughly 56.94. This would take us back to an area we have already been, and this used to be the middle of the trend, and the middle of the trend is now here. From here to this price point is roughly up 0.91%. And should we be so lucky as to get to this level and stay there, that would be a gain of 1%. Note the the buy-in at support, sell-off at resistance, grinding up, falling back down, and then making our way through this line. And now we're back down here, attempting to go back up to resistance. And check out the RSI. It's kind of curving. Let me move this out of the way, sideways. So I wonder if it's going to start turning. And as far as gaps go, I bought in at 53.79. The gap to the north side I'm tracking takes us to 58.78. This will touch around 60.04, and then we've got this one, which will take us out to 62.29, not in the channel, not in the zone, not even close, just something to be aware of. Need to move this over here. But this is the week I'm taking a look at. And if we continue to slowly grind up, this could touch possibly in 2 weeks. But I take it 1 week at a time on this gap and go video that I'm making. But here is the middle of the trend. At the end of the week, if we slowly go up, it could be at 57.93, and the upper channel could be 58.23 to 58.52. The 1-year price target on Unilever is 63.21, which represents a solid 10% return from where we are. And nothing else, I think, to the downside. Next up, is Estee Lauder. We ended the day at 74.62, down 0.51%. 75.66 is one level, another level 76.16, and potentially 76.77. Obviously, many other levels in between. Throw on your VWAP, Fibonacci retracement, trend lines, Bollinger Bands, your bots for your buy and sell signals. So many ways to do this. VWAP is at 74.35. Below that, 73.64, 73.16, 72.63. And if you never track your gaps, that just gives me a higher probability of what direction price is going to go or hit if we get to that area. But the standard deviations will take out those gaps as well eventually. But as far as the big gap I'm tracking takes us to 87.05. Not in the channel, not in the zone, not even close. Just something to be aware of. You can see the sell-off at resistance here. And now we're attempting to go back up to this level again. But again, pay attention to the RSI. Next up is Nike. We ended the day at 76.42, down 0.68%. To the north side, one level of resistance, 77.27, an area where we have been previously, 77.68 and 78.05. To the south side, VWAP is at 76.28, 75.70, 75.31-ish, and roughly 74.91. This gap closed to the downside, taking us to 75.30, and then we started running up from there. That is support, and another level of support all the way down here, still in play at 72.67. It looks like, well, did it hit? No, see, we've got room right there technically, and I'm a technical trader. That did not touch, so that will still come back to haunt us. It's a landmine to the south side if we retrace to this level, but not in the channel, not in the zone, not even close. We've got room to go a couple weeks if we continue to go south, but I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that we turn around. This past week was not such a great week. We had moments of brilliance, and then we gave it back, and then we clawed our way back. So we've got this gap that takes us to 94.27, and then we have that little gap right here still in play, and then this gap still in play, gaps within gaps. And I think that is it for now. What's happening? No, that one's, oh wait, what happened here? Did that touch? No, it didn't. It touched the bottom part of the gap, but did not fill it. So that's definitely still in play. But this one, oh, wait a minute. This one what is, oh, that's part of, this gap is part of this bigger gap that has not filled. That takes us to 89.18. Intel is up next. Let me hit Option R to reset this. All right, so we are at 2030. To the north side takes us back to an area we've already been. Middle of the trend, roughly at 2053. Above that, 2097, 2119, and 2142. To the south side, VWAP in the blue, 2026, 2008, 1986, and 1963. So the middle of the trend, and I forgot to do that with the other ones. So that takes us right here. So I'm going to delete the one above it because then it gets congested. This is just so that I can eyeball and see where we've been easily in the big picture. If you pull out to the one, the daily, weekly, you can see these lines better. But last week we were here. Then the week before that, we were here. So we went from here to here, and now we're up to here. But I'll just take it from here. From here to the price point of where we ended for the week takes us up to 6.56%. And should we get back to the middle of the trend, that's 7.67%. I will delete this line, this upper line. That, like I said, this was the past week, the week before. So I'll just delete this one. There we go. This could act as resistance, this line, the resistance. This line can be support. This is support, 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 support. Gaps to the downside are also support. Many levels of support and resistance in between. You calculate it however you like, and that way you are comfortable with trading in your style. Rivn. All right, we are basically at VWAP. To the north side, this green line, if we go sideways and up, that takes us to 1375, 1413, 1432, 1450. If you're just starting out trading, you may not want to put all these things on your chart. It can look confusing, but it is not, because I know exactly why I put these on my chart. And it does get busy, but delete everything. That way you can kind of keep things nice and simple for yourself. So to the south side, 1338, 1320, 13, and we've got this gap still in play to the downside at 1235, and this one at 1198 to the south side, not in the channel, not in the zone. All right, I think that's good. And then this gap that I have been tracking, I need to clean this up because whenever I extend it, I have no idea when it's going to touch, and it did, and I forgot to clean this up a couple weeks ago. So we opened up on Monday, December 9th, and we closed this puppy to the downside. Oops, Command Z, redo. Right there. That took us down to 1305. I delete the price targets because we have hit it. No longer a threat to our account to the south side. So check this out. So we were here, we went down just a little bit more because this is support, and then we bounced off of that, created this gap, gapped to the upside, and then filled to the downside. I didn't mark it or note it, just something to be aware of, and then making our way back down and then sideways. So again, that is where we are. The previous week was here, and then the week before that was here. So we went from here to now here. Obviously, even if we're going down, there are pops to the upside where you can get out, or you buy in low and then pop it to the upside and then get out. Just little bursts. You can make so easily 2% all day long every day, and that will beat your bank any day of the week. And I think I might try to do that, like I just said, in January of 2025. Not like I just said, I've said that before in the past. I'm gonna change up some things I'm doing for smaller gains. And obviously that means I would be trading way more often, but we'll see about that. I get pretty busy. So there's Rivn, Sofi. So we are here to the north side. VWAP is at 1602. Above that, right here, around 1636, close to a line we've been previous. Oh, let me turn on the magnet. You have to be one tick over. $16.97, $17.26, $17.57. Don't hold your breath for Monday to the south side. We could eventually get there, but on Monday, no. Up to that level, no. $15.74, and if we do, you can bet there will be a sell-off. People will take their profits and they will run, they will lock in, and they will leave. $15.43, $15.14, and what is happening down here? Oh, apparently I bought in here and it retraced to this level. I could have bought in again, didn't pay attention. Okay, so we touched and then ran back up again because we did have a crazy week. Or that was 2 weeks ago. All right. That's my old buy-in line too. The gap to the downside at 12.98 to be aware of. Other gaps, 11.43 here. Moving farther away from it. Yeah. And then this one. Many gaps to the downside if we retrace and when we retrace, but who knows if we'll go that deep down. Clear buy-in at support, sell-off at resistance. Resistance all the way up here, support down there. And did I mark the middle of the trend? I think I did, yeah. Oh yes, that's what I was gonna do. So this is where we are. We were right here last week. So let me just give you an idea of the percentage here. So from here to today's price, that's up 7%. Should we make it back to this middle of the trend line? That's a 9% gain. I think that's doable. But from here all the way up to here, if you're tracking this, I have to get rid of my magnet. From here to this high, that is a return of 11% in 1 week. I'll take that all day long. Get in, get up, get out. So this line is too close to this line for my taste. I'm going to delete that because I don't need it. I'm just showing you this so that you can mark out support and resistance lines for yourselves as well. See, look, I marked out this, and then we stayed here between this line and this area, and then from here to here, and then from here to here. And now we've gone down, then we're in this channel right here. Oh, what is the gap? It was 22.79 is the gap to the upside. I'll extend that later. Neo is the next one. We ended the week at 448. The middle of the trend takes us to, let me turn back on my magnet. Right there, 460. Whoops. 479, 488, and 497 to the south side. Oh, I forgot about the VWAP at 452, 442, 433, 425. We've got a gap that will take us down to 417 here and 395. So this is where we're headed sorted if we go sideways and not following this up. This is a little more conservative here. But the previous week we were here. So we went from here to the potential line of here. But look at this. We went from here all the way to resistance. Let's Take that right about there. That was about 7%, a 7% return. All right. Oh, there were some baby gaps that are new from a couple weeks ago. I forgot to extend. There we go. 441-ish, 435-ish. Then we have this and that one to deal with, and then that one to the downside. 370, I marked it out already. 370. All right, to the upside, we've got this gap, and that takes us to 488. Let me just mark that. Change the color. Boom. Then we have this one taking us to 505. Wait, no, that's the upper band of this one. This one is 518. So you can see we have a bunch of gaps to the north side, but it's one gap at a time, and it will be this one first. It'll touch it, and then resistance will be up here too, and this will be resistance too. And that starts at roughly 497. And then be aware of the landmines to the south side. All right, and I think that was one more TSLY. Option R. This thing started to crater on me. All right, we're at 1514, 1573, retracing to an area we've been before, 1707, 1775, and don't hold your breath for Monday, 1893, for a future date, possibly. Then we have this gap, but this will wipe it out if we get to 1440, 1374, and roughly 1304. See, we've got 1444 down here. And let me clean up this gap. This gap opened up on Tuesday, December 10th, and then we touched it right here on Monday, the 23rd, out of the gate. So very good. We will clean this up. This is no longer a threat to our account to the downside. Obviously, we have other threats with, TSLY and Tesla and Elon Musk. I am so thrilled with Doge, the Department of Governmental Efficiency. I cannot wait till he cleans up the government. That's like my HOA. Can he come to my HOA and clean up the HOA too? So much wasteful spending that they don't think is wasteful. It's just like common sense. Where is the common sense? It's disgusting. Okay, I digress. Now let me clean up some things here. So this gap opened up on Wednesday, December 18th, and I never cleaned it up. It closed on that day as well. And then this one, where did this one touch? This one actually touched right here on December 16th to the upside at 1772. And that gap, yeah, I have to go to a bigger time frame. It's difficult to pull it back so you can see. And as you can see by the lines, those are the weeks and weeks and weeks that I have tracked TSLY for the gaps. Closed a gap, opened a gap, created more gaps, and then closed a gap. I mean, it's just all over the place. So that one opened up on July 8th of 2024, closed on basically the 16th of December. Wait a minute. So tiny. So that one closed, 1772. That was the bottom portion. The top portion took us to 1787. And this one needs to be cleaned up just a tad as well. What is this one? We touched, was that a wick? No, that did not. touch there. That touched right here on this wick. So that closed on the 17th. Oops, gosh darn it. You have to be very meticulous with where you grab your gap, your box there. All right, so this gap is still in play, 1826. Gosh darn it. Command Z. 1947 is where, I'll delete that one. Hopefully we are headed, but we're going to get, gosh darn it. Apparently an earnings report coming up soon, and they paid a dividend. Oh, it paid a dividend on the 27th. All right, that is it for TSLY, although I want to make sure I marked out the middle of the trend. I think I did. All right. So this, I guess I didn't. This is where the middle of the trend is. So we are here. That will turn into resistance. If we go sideways, we could follow that path or go down. So that was an area I marked for this upcoming week. The previous week, did I delete it already? Yeah, I might have. Oh, no, it's right here. So this was the previous week. And then now this is the upcoming week. We are stair-stepping it down still, even though we have pops of greatness, and then we give it all back. So, let me extend this out. That's what I'm going to be tracking. And this gap to the downside closed on Friday. We opened up on Tuesday, so that's done. This gap is still in play, down to 14.44. Turn that red. Oh, and then we've got, let's see, did that close? That was such a tiny, yeah, it did. Such a tiny little, oh wait, no, it didn't. Gap. See, we still have room for it to touch. So I'm going to not say that has closed, but it should on Monday. All right. And that's it for TSLY. Now, let me make sure I just marked out the middle of the trend for the other ones. Unilever, okay. Estee Lauder. Nope, I forgot that one. 74.66-ish. Nike, I did not do either. Okay, so we went from here to here. Even though the channel itself is going down, we did go up from the previous week. Just a tiny, tiny bit. I'll take it. Intel, this is the middle of the trend. Rivn down here. Sofi, Neo, and TSLY. All right, that does it for me. That is my gap and go trades for the week of December 30th through January 3rd. This will be the 56th week that I'm tracking many of these tickers. I have removed so many that I have hit the gaps. And once I complete this, I will get rid of this gap and go trades and make videos on something else. All right, I hope you have a fantastic trading week and have fun on New Year's Day as well. I'll make another video on that day. Take care.